Today, I want to talk about something that I don't hear a lot of people talking about in the healing and transformation community. I have been on a transformation journey now for 6 months, and I have been really working on increasing my self-trust. And I wanted to come on and talk about self-trust today. But what I realized when I was thinking about self-trust is that I can't really talk about self-trust if I'm not talking about how I actually reconnected to my body and built self-trust. And the way I did that was through using the MOVES method mobility training in order to reconnect to my body and increase capacity in my nervous system. Now, I'm somebody who works with nervous system regulation, and I work in crisis intervention. So regulating my nervous system is something I'm always doing and always working with other people and doing. But I never really realized how important it is in feeling self-trust and safe in your own body until I started doing this mobility work. Because what I realized is that when I started, I was so stiff and so sore. And I was somebody who had difficulty getting up out of bed and actually getting moving because I had so much stiffness, so much pain, so much discomfort. I kind of had to ease into it. If you know, you know. And my knees had always been a little bit creaky. And so even going up and down stairs sometimes it would hurt. And so I started very small. I got really inspired when I had watched one of Vanja's videos here on YouTube. You should go check her out. The MOVES method, it's amazing. And I just started working on sitting in the resting squat. I would just set a little timer and just try to get down into a resting squat. I could not do it unassisted at first. I had to lift my heels up off the ground. I could only be down there for a few seconds because it would hurt my knees. It would hurt, it would hurt because my hips were tight, my knees were tight, and my ankles were insanely tight, which is crazy to think that unlocking all of this really had to do more with like my wrists and my ankles first. So I started sitting in the squat, and I just, little by little, I was just persistent. It was a daily practice that I had. And then once I felt a little bit more comfortable and I was able to kind of sit down there and kind of move around, I started working on getting up and down off the floor unassisted, or, assisted at first, but just working on how can I just get myself up off this floor. I have this mat here. This is my trusty dusty matty. It's like a little gym mat that trifolds, and I put it down. It's great for when I'm squatting and lifting up my heels. It's amazing when, you're doing these mobility exercises. You need a soft landing, I would say. But I saw so much progress. And after about 3 months, I got really excited. And so I signed up for her community and I got access to her program. And for the next 3 months, I started just using one of the days of exercises, and I did it consistently. And I started with assisted moves, and then I worked on, trying to increase and challenge myself along the way. Here's what I've come to learn. There is a sedentary tax, because initially when I started the mobility work, it created soreness, stiffness, pain in my body. And a part of that I realized was it's an amazing practice to actually come down into your body and be in your body, because there's nothing that'll make you pay attention like pain in your body or stiffness or, And so it was actually helping me really reconnect to all these parts of my body that had just been very neglected. And so it was kind of like, it almost felt like when I would come out in the mornings to do my mobility work, it was like this, not like meditative thing, but it was just like where I was really I was breathing into my body. I was really paying attention to my body, and I felt more connected to my body. And as I just started showing up day by day, bit by bit, I've just continually done it. And I didn't really think much about it even, because it's just I did have one moment where I had been doing one move where I needed to use an elevation, and I couldn't get to my elevation that day. It's the thing I was using. And so I was like, oh, fine, I'm just going to try and do it on the mat and see if I can do it like the original way, the more advanced way. And to my surprise and amazement, I was like, oh my gosh, it's the back lunge. I was like, wow. And then it just got me really inspired. And what I've noticed is that in order for your body to increase your range of motion and your mobility, Your nervous system has to feel safe. Your body has to feel comfortable, familiar, and safe in those positions. And that's why the repetition and practice is vital. So the other thing, and my last point I want to make here, is that I started to notice, Vanja would say in some of her videos, and I hope I'm saying her name right, but she would say in some of her videos that, your body will start to crave this movement. And at that time I was like, oh, okay, because it was like, I was actually having to kind of like, I was having to show up intentionally because I felt so stiff and sore there for, quite a while. But then I did start to notice that my body, like I would get up in the morning and I would want to come down. I would want to like move and kind of feel fluid in my body. And at night before I'd go to bed, I'd want to like, again, move and feel fluid in my body. I found myself just like dropping down into resting squat, like in public. Cause I'm like, oh, my back hurts. It's feeling tight. Let's drop into a resting squat, help release some of that tension. And then I realized my body was craving that movement because my body was craving that regulation. And so it was just like this moment of like, of course. And so I just think it's really important to acknowledge that using the mobility practices that at first were very challenging and difficult and didn't feel good in my body, but consistently showing up and breathing into that, dropping into my body, moving through that discomfort, building my capacity in my nervous system has led me to a place I can honestly say I didn't know if I first saw. And I'm not even there yet, guys. I mean, I still use assists on things and all of it, but it's just the way I feel in my body, the way I'm moving my body, getting up and down off the floor without assistance. I mean, like, I'm proud of that one. And, I think the thing is like, it does increase self-trust, because when you feel like you can move through the world and any motion or movement or any different angle you're moving, like, your body's capable and strong and comfortable in those positions, it's freedom. Thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful. I will see you on the next one. Bye.